Peace. This is Lord Maitreya with the Super Longevity Institute. I got my man, Rich Lee. The
What's
episode
up?
today is called Biohacking in the Garage. What's up, Rich Lee?
A lot, man.
How you been, man?
Hap- Been really good. Happy to be on. Happy to be on with you.
Yeah,
It's good to talk like this.
yeah, man. I really respect the biohacking community, man, because they remind me of what we used to do in hip hop, like with you know, when they took the instruments out the schools, we just was like, all right, you gotta take the instruments out of school. We're gonna just create a new genre of music, you know.
Right.
And so we plug the sound system in the street light, and that's the birth of the culture. And
Yeah.
I was watching, me and Rich Lee. Let me just give you some history. Me and Rich Lee we both was in this movie called documentary, following Zotan Istavon 2016 campaign for presidency, and the name of the documentary was called "Immortality or Bust." And so, Rich Lee represented the biohacking community in that film. Now, Rich Lee, can you tell me how did you get into biohacking? Give me some history on how you got into biohacking and everything.
So, I was like a lot of other people. I was reading a lot of things by futurists. I had this idea in my head that life was going to be like the Jetsons someday. There's going to be a robot maid that's going to take care of all my stuff. You get immortality, flying cars, and all that stuff. And I don't know, just in the back of my mind, I always had this like vision, this vision of that's how it was just going to be. And then I lost my grandmother, and actually a lot of transhumanists I talk to, they get into transhumanism even more when they lose a family member or something like that. It just hits home the importance. But
Oh,
I just kind of evaluated it because after my grandma died, she was kind of like a pack rat, man, and she saved like a ton of like magazines and stuff. That she had these magazines that were going back into the 40s,
mm,
all through like 90s. It just all kinds of magazines. So I was just going through them and looking at like some of the articles in there, and they had like a lot of like futurists that I never heard of, back in like the 40s, like making predictions about like, oh, within your lifetime, you're going to go to the moon on vacation, going to live to be 200 and everything like that. And actually, I was like, you know what? All these articles I'm reading now are the same articles that they were printing, back in the 40s and 50s.
oh,
And that scared the hell out of me. I was like, this whole time I'm just like kicked back thinking it's just going to come to me. Singularity is just going to happen. Some AI genie's just going to give me whatever I want.
mm-hmm.
Some kind of a idea like that. And then I just thought I just looked at it and I was like, you know what? Really, like, what are the odds that I get the future that I want?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm just kicked back doing nothing about it.
Right.
I could be just like these guys in the 1940s who are just like, oh, technology is advancing so fast. This is going to happen. We just got to hang in there and just, be complacent and like docile and just die,
Right.
waiting. And I just decided I'm not going to die waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get in there. And before this, like I was into like business and stuff like that. Like I can't stand it now, but like that was my world back then, like international business.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I didn't have a background in this at all. And I'm not the best learner, honestly. Like I gotta hit some like a topic over and over and over, like for it to sink in. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes I get it right away, but I mean, other times
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy for me to learn stuff. I got like ADD, and it's just kind of hard to focus sometimes. So, um, but I mean, it was really important to me. So I got into it, and honestly, like I thought that I was the only person like out there
Mm-hmm.
trying to make this future happen. Trying to get like figure out longevity, figure out like cybernetics, and uh, things like that. And then I found that other people were doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of found these other biohackers, and I guess I'm considered like one of the early like people in the movement.
Mm-hmm.
We just kind of started talking more on forums and things like that. Made our own forums, started collaborating, and now it's really taken off.
Wow.
And we draw from like the crowds that are into like the implants and like the cyborg part of things, and we draw from like the people that are into the DIY bio stuff. They've got like biology labs in their garage and things like that. And it's from all kinds of different like bio perspectives, basically.
Let me jump in real quick.
Yeah,
Can you tell my audience out there who who really don't know about the field of biohacking, and don't even know what the word biohacking means? Can you give them a quick definition of what is biohacking?
yeah. So basically, every time somebody asks me this too, it seems like I give a different answer, but really, it's repurposing biology somehow. So that could be like adding an instrument to your body and just augmenting the way you live with like a new sense or a different function, right? Like you've got some chip that like lets you in to certain areas or whatever, or execute certain programs for you.
Right.
Or that could be like engineering a bacteria that's going to go into your microbiome in your gut
Hmm.
and take care of something, or supply some amino acid or something like that. It could be so a whole weird range of stuff.
Hmm.
It's just basically purposefully engineering biology to do what you want.
Wow. Um, in the film, um, I seen one of the gentlemen open a car door with without a key and start his engine of his car without a key. What type of
Right.
biohacking went into something like that?
Yeah. So that kind of stuff is usually done with RFID or NFC chips. And these chips are really small. They're like the size of a grain of rice, and you could like inject them into yourself. And they're super tiny. There's no electronics. Well, there's no like active electronics in there. So there's no batteries or anything like that.
Right.
You need like an external reader that like scans out for these things, and then it echoes back to the device and with some information basically. And so it's like kind of like one way, one direction kind of a thing where it just shoots out some message or whatever you got it programmed to do. So yeah, you
Wow.
could do that. Basically, set it up to do all kinds of things. Yeah, open doors. Like if you got like a key card at work or something like that you use to get into a building. Now it could just be like on your implant. You just swipe it, open doors. That dude started his own car.
Wow.
Um, People use it to open their phone. I got one friend. He travels a lot, and like wherever he is, he'll just set up like in his phone the location of his hotel.
Hmm.
He'll go out and party, and then just like swipe it on his chip, and it'll like execute so that it'll summon an Uber to him to take him back to his hotel, like no matter where he's at.
Wow.
So yeah,
That's incredible.
really the possibilities are endless because whatever you can program, you can have this thing be like the key to execute that function. If you wanted to like clear your browser history or
Hmm.
something like that, you just swipe it, executes that function.
Mm.
um, I know one dude who put a computer virus on there, that he could pass around to people. I mean, that's kind of like on the
Wow.
black hat side of things, like where
Hmm.
people are doing some shady stuff, but it was clever.
How can if any young hip hoppers that's listening today and they're interested in biohacking, what is some advice you can give them um to what type of tools, what type of startup would they need if they wanted to start biohacking?
Yeah, so the startup is pretty cheap nowadays. Like we got tools like CRISPR and things like that, and that's a good place. CRISPR is a good place to like to basically get in and like start to experience some of the lab, like the bench work side of things.
Hmm.
Setting up petri dishes and like culturing bacteria, things like that. That'll give you like a good understanding of like the basics. Uh, Honestly, there's some reading you can do too.
Right.
My friend Justin, he's got this YouTube channel, and he turned me onto this thing, and I laughed at first, but
Hmm.
because people are always asking him, like, what should I read if I want to get into biohacking? And he says, get the manga guide to biohacking. It's like this comic book, right?
Really?
And, and so I bought it because I got kids and I was thinking, oh, maybe, maybe I could get them into it or whatever. But
That
I
shit is
haven't even
dope.
given it to them yet. But this thing is actually like, it's legit. Like, it looks goofy, but
Oh
like,
shit!
yeah, no,
I want to
let
get
me give you a picture of it.
that. Wait. What?
Yeah, the
Oh,
mega guide to molecular biology. But this thing is
what?
legit, man. I learned stuff in this book. I learned stuff that I didn't know. I didn't even know. So it breaks
That's
it down so
crazy.
easy. Yeah, it breaks it down so easy. Like this is
I'm
like
gonna
the
get in
best
that.
way to get into it. Like if you're like me and you don't learn like on a uh, like in an academic setting. Like I
Right.
don't learn well in an academic setting.
Mm-hmm.
But so something like this like really works good for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then just doing like these experiments like with kits that you can buy online,
Mm.
different CRISPR kits. But we're talking like for those like $160 or something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's doable.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cheap,
Yeah.
you know. And you just learn a ton, and like you know, it'll open your eyes. Honestly, like it'll open your eyes to like all the things you can do and all the things that are coming up. You know, on the horizon for humanity in general.
Um, does the set come with a chip? Because it comes with a
Not that
small
one,
chip,
but
right?
yeah. See, if you want a chip, there's another company that sells chips.
Mm-hmm.
They're already preloaded in syringes, so as soon as you get them, you can just to either take them into a piercing shop to have them done there, or you could try to do it yourself or have a friend do it.
Mm.
Um, yeah, magnets is another big thing that like a lot of biohackers start with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Finger magnets, which basically like tiny magnets that are especially coated. They go on your fingertips,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and they give you a sixth sense because every time you're by an electromagnetic field, the magnet inside your finger responds, and the nerves in your fingertips are super rich. So it
Right.
kind of makes this buzzing sensation.
Mm.
And so now you can feel electromagnetic fields like it was a texture,
Wow.
and you could do all kinds of like crazy bar tricks, free drinks for days. I mean, I've been doing it for like
Wow.
12 years now. I mean, it never gets old. So yeah, no,
Wow.
that's fun.
So do does do biohackers have a festival that they like a conference that they have every year?
Yeah. So, I mean, with COVID, everything's messed up
Mm-hmm.
nowadays, and so like everything was canceled this year. We're all really bummed about it, but like, we've got a couple different ones. So,
Mm.
uh, there's the DEF CON conference in Las Vegas, and that's like anything security related, and mostly we're talking about computer security and stuff like that, like hackers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they basically invited in the biohackers like a few years back, and we've been going ever since. And
Oh,
we all get along really good with all the other hackers. It's just
wow.
we have the same kind of mindset. We're just like break it. If it exists, we'll just break it, tear it apart, see what
Wow.
makes it work, put it back together again, or do what we want with it.
What do you think
Yeah, so that's a huge show. And then we got Biohack the Planet, which
Oh,
is another awesome one. Yeah, that's a great show. Sometimes it's in Oakland. Last time we had it was in Vegas,
mm,
and that's like definitely the biology side of stuff. Learning how to do all kinds of crazy stuff from making viruses, beneficial viruses, things like that. Like,
mm.
um, to like making beer with like a glow in the dark beer, um, with like genetically modified yeast and stuff. Stuff you can make in your kitchen, honestly.
Right.
Yeah. Then let's see. There's some other like smaller like micro events that like there's an event called Grindfest that's
Mm.
in California, and that was what was featured on that documentary we were in. We were having
Oh,
this like small get together. We do some crazy stuff there, though. I don't know.
wow.
I don't know if that's for everyone, but like we got these taser knives, and we like have these taser knife fights. That's kind of our tradition.
Oh, that's
We
all good. This you talking to the hip hop audience.
Yeah, no, it's
We
fun,
get
man,
into the
because
we get into the
you get hit with
all.
that and you feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh.
We have a good time though. I mean, there's one year that we like just made a bunch of explosives, went out in the desert, just blew stuff
Wow.
up just for fun. I mean, it was just I don't know. I don't know how biohacking related that part of it was, but
Right, right. It's all good. I
just
mean,
fun stuff, you know.
what do you think? What's the next level for biohackers? Like, what do y'all all like? What's your future goals as a collective? Like, what do y'all want to see done in the biohacking community? Like, what are y'all reaching to do?
Well, okay, so I can't speak for the community entirely, but well, okay, on the community side of things, I can say that we've had a big hurdle in that. Actually, most of our hurdles aren't even like material related, right? Because a lot of biohackers, they actually work in like legit labs.
Right,
And I could call up a buddy and I'd say, hey, I need this synthesized. Can you hook me up? And he'll hook me up. He'll go to work, make the stuff, and then ship it to me like on the down low, right?
right,
So that's been a cool, like just having a community that can get that done. But then we've had like other barriers, like, you know, if we want to do something like animal testing,
mm,
you know, that's a huge barrier. You know, like
right,
something can work in a petri dish all day long, but you know, there's like no immune system. Like you don't know if this is gonna
right,
work or not in a live being. But we recently, well, we're in the process of overcoming that hurdle because we've got some people that are coming up with a zebra fish
okay,
lab that you know is basically going to allow us to do animal testing on the cheap, you know, on fish.
right, right,
You know, so like not mammals and stuff like that. You know, it's just fish. So
right.
yeah, so that's going to be huge for the community. Now,
Yeah, because no,
personally, like the future that I think we're moving to
mhm,
is one that's like biologically fluid. You know, I mean, I just see that as the future. Is like, you know, you're born with whatever genetics you get, right? It's
mhm,
just a lottery, absolute lottery.
right,
And some people luck out, some people get diseases, you know.
right, right,
But we're moving to that future, man, where you're going to be able to like change whatever you want about your genetics.
right.
That's going to be the day, and that like everything will go wild for biohacking because when we can smoothly do that,
Mm,
you know, and I could like, I don't know, have brown eyes one day, blue eyes another day, or whatever. You know what I
right.
mean? The world's going to change. You
Yeah,
know, people are going to start saying like, you know, why is that your preference? You know,
right,
like why do you have a preference for this or whatever? Or it could be like a form of self-expression, like a tattoo. You know,
right.
people can get like different body modifications, like genetically. I don't know. It's gonna be pretty wild.
Um, is the biohacking community worldwide? Are you guys like world? Is it like hip? Like there's hip hoppers everywhere. Like I talk to hip
Right.
hoppers all around the world.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
is
No, that's the
biohacking
same.
all around the world? Are you connected
Oh yeah, we're connected.
worldwide?
Like, yeah, we got people in India, like Malaysia. We got people in Russia, doing some awesome stuff in Ukraine. Uh, yeah, worldwide, and we collaborate. And the crazy thing is, like, you know, different countries have different rules. Like in Germany, you can't do this stuff unless you're like in a legit lab.
Right,
And so those guys got to keep everything on the down low, and like they can't get stuff, you know. So
right.
um, we have different workarounds or things like that, where they come to us, say, you know, like, hey, I got this idea for an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you guys in the U.S., can you execute it? You know, see if you could do it for me, see if it works.
Mm.
So yeah, we collaborate all over the world.
Um, what else I want to ask? Uh, the Grind Fest you said is in California, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Did
middle of nowhere, California, man. This
oh,
is like there's this double wide trailer, and like middle of nowhere, and people we just pack it like every
wow,
year. And, yeah,
wow. And how
we
long?
get pretty crazy.
How many days is Grind Fest?
Usually goes like 3 or 4 days.
Wow, nice. Wow, and
Yeah,
is
yeah,
there
it's pretty cool.
is there any performances or is it just straight biohacking?
Yeah, I mean, so like a lot of people that come like happen to be performers too. Like
Right.
we've got like my friend Anastasia. She comes. She's a magician. She's
Mm,
got like more implants than anybody I know, and she
really?
does like uses her implants for like her magic tricks. Um, we got like body modification artists that come.
Mm,
We got like one entire room. There's a surgery room. So if you want like a modification, We got the surgery chair, like the whole setup. Like, it's
Wow.
just like a whole operating table thing. It's
Wow.
uh, like we've had like emergency room staff on hand, for our stuff.
Wow.
Um, just because they know some of the organizers, and they all work at the same hospital. So
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
um, yeah, it's crazy. But so I mean, but it's not like back to back classes, right?
Mm-hmm.
There'll be like some classes like you want to learn how to make circuit boards online and just like have them shipped to you,
Wow.
or if you want to learn how to do suturing, right? Stitch somebody up. If you want to learn how to like implant something in somebody,
Right.
or about like sterile technique or whatever, different topics, or how to do CRISPR. And
Oh,
uh,
wait 1 second. Can you
yeah,
explain to my audience what is CRISPR? Because I don't.
yeah.
My audience might
So
not know what that
CRISPR
is.
is really interesting, but it's this like before, if you wanted to genetically modify anything, it costs a lot. You needed a lab, that's pretty sophisticated usually.
Mm-hmm.
But this CRISPR technique came around, which is really clever. But basically, inside bacteria don't have like an immune system like we have an immune system, right? Because they're
Mm-hmm.
just one cell. So like inside the bacteria, they've got like kind of an immune system that like takes care of like viruses and different things that get in them.
Right.
And so basically, they figured out there's like a certain like protein code that like basically chops up these foreign proteins.
Mm-hmm.
And so they use that now to edit genes. So now you can like attach this genetic code that'll go and like chop up a certain area of a gene that you want. And it's like scissors. It just you extract your gene, then you can put it into some other organism. And now it
Mm-hmm.
starts, smelling like strawberry or something.
Right. Right.
And it's
Wow.
just like that. It's crazy, but and it's cheap.
Right.
That's the thing with CRISPR is it's super cheap now, and that's
Wow.
how we, have really been thriving in biohacking because you know uh, those financial hurdles, man, they were real,
Wow.
for a long time, and but now it's like, the big hurdles like imagination. You
Mm.
just got to know what you want. You can send off to a lab, get something synthesized for like $300, and then you got
Mm.
a whole new organism of life that has never been in existence on Earth before, and you are like its maker. You know, 300
Um.
bucks.
Question for you.
Yeah.
Is there a platform where biohackers share their information? Is there a public platform for that?
Yeah, you know what? We're kind of scattered in different like silos around the internet. Like a lot of us, it's kind of like Facebook groups, right? Where we have like a lot of like the same ideas and like 10
Mm-hmm.
different Facebook groups, and you're a member of all 10, and then it's just like kind of like you. So we're kind of scattered there. And so like, there's some people that are more focused on the biology side of stuff, like molecular biology. And then some people that are focused more on, the implants, the cyborg thing, the cyberpunk scene.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we've got some websites and forums like Biohack Me, the
Mm-hmm.
biohack.me. That's a good forum if you want to get into the cyborg scene, the implants.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if you want to get into molecular biology, like a lot of stuff is happening on Facebook
Right.
and Facebook groups. Um, if you do a keyword search for like biohacking and genetic design,
Mm-hmm.
you can find some good Facebook groups like that. There's
Mm-hmm.
some like Facebook groups out there like that are say they're biohacking related, but then when you delve into them, they're just like about like doing yoga and eating right or something like that. Which I'm not going to knock because that's got that's good advice. That's good lifestyle
Right.
stuff, I guess. But like
Right.
kind of stuff we're into is like more dramatic, I guess. It's
Right.
like you know completely deleting genes and things like that.
Yeah. It's science, man, and I like the idea because I always say that the more citizen scientists, the better.
Yeah.
The more people that are aware of how to apply the scientific method to their life, you know, the better. And
Mm-hmm.
experimentation is part of the process of the scientific method. And your guys are
Yeah.
doing, you're experimenting, and that's the only way you really learn. You gotta, is like playing around with things and seeing what you come up with. So
Yeah,
you
that's
know, I
right. And
appreciate
you
the
know what? Like,
biohacking community.
yeah, I don't want to like sidetrack it, but like,
Hmm.
this just reminds me of something. But like, we're living in an age now where like medicine has changed a lot,
Hmm.
and it's almost like, I mean, man, if you go to the doctor, it's just like phenomenally expensive,
Hmm.
if you have insurance or if you don't have insurance, it's just ridiculous.
Right,
And the government kind of has like a monopoly on health now,
right,
you know,
right.
they kind of have a monopoly on health. It's like if any drug, has to go through the FDA and all that to
Which is a
get
really
approved,
big process to approve drugs.
huge.
Huge
And
process.
so I mean, the thing about the biohacking community is
Hmm.
like, yeah, I mean, when it comes to the masses, yeah, things should be tested, go through some kind of approval thing for safety. Like I agree with that, but like that world just isn't agile,
Right.
like biohackers are, right? We can get on it like fast. And when this COVID stuff came out, right? In February, we had a dude who had an experimental vaccine
Right.
in February. I
Wow.
actually took a vaccine in March.
Wow.
Now, I mean that's how quick it was. And you know what the thing is, I'm not saying anyone should have done that because what I did was crazy. And I do a lot of crazy stuff. No, nobody should try that at home.
Right.
But I'm just saying like if there's like a more serious pandemic one day, right?
Hmm.
You're gonna wait for the government to give you your shot, you
Exactly.
know, you'll be dead by the time you get it. I mean,
Exactly.
but that's
Exactly.
why a citizen science community is good to have. I mean,
Exactly.
you know, oh,
And
that vaccine that I was talking about too,
mhm.
uh, Pfizer went and basically made the same exact vaccine,
Wow.
and now they're pushing it through the FDA for approvals.
Wow.
So it's like we independently came up with the same stuff.
Wow. And I'm not surprised because I know there's a lot of creative, smart individuals in the biohacking community, and that's why I wanted to have you on my show because, uh, you know, in the city we can't be afraid of science. We have to use this science to empower us, and you know, what's that guy's name? Shucks, what is his name? The physicist. Oh man,
Akaku,
Macaco. He built the atom smasher.
Michio Akaku, yeah.
He built the atom smasher in his garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, it almost blew. It almost blew his. I know his brother was like,
No, that's a great story, but man, that's inspiring.
he built the atom smasher in his house. What do you look? Hip hop is all we need is books, the internet, and we can do whatever we want, man. All we need is the
Yeah,
information, and we need to just apply it.
yeah, it's out there, man.
It's out
And
there. I mean, you can't be afraid. Like they're gonna microchip and implant me. I mean, you can't.
right, yeah,
Nobody can
I
force you
get
to
a
do
lot of that.
anything.
I get a lot of people that are afraid of the microchip implant thing,
Hmm.
because they're afraid like the government's going to track them or whatever. But the truth is like if you want to track somebody, if you want to find somebody, you
Hmm.
need like a tower that's going to be like 6 feet tall
Hmm.
and like it's going to pump out a lot of like radio signal just
Right.
to find somebody 10 feet away. If you want to find somebody like a mile away, that's going to be like impossible.
Right.
With these chips that we have. I
Right.
mean, so it's like going to be absolutely impossible to use this to like track people down.
Yeah.
If the government wants to track you down, if you got a phone, they
Right.
got you. Uh,
And
so
on adding to what you just said, what I know people were afraid of cyber security also. But
mhm.
I don't think like you said, those chips are not as sophisticated yet. Whereas though, maybe I don't know
Mhm.
if they can be hacked. I don't even think
No, they
they'll be.
can't.
Yeah, I don't think that type of technology is even on. I'm not sure if they
Yeah,
can.
I mean, technically, somebody could like read, like if somebody came up to you
Mm,
and like read your tag somehow, like,
mm,
and I mean, and sometimes it's a pain in the butt because sometimes you like have to put your reader like right on the tag and like move it around and wait a minute. And sometimes it doesn't
right,
scan immediately. So I mean, if somebody like actually comes up to you, I guess they could read the data you have on your tag,
right,
and so
right,
you just don't put anything like that important on it.
right, right.
You know, you don't put your Bitcoin wallet, like, you know, info on it. You know, it's like
Right.
just common sense stuff. But I mean, you know, like a lot of us are like actually come from the hacking world. You know, there's a lot of biohackers that are just were computer hackers before,
Right.
or still are. And so I mean, like, yeah, cybersecurity and stuff like that is like always, you know, at the forethought, you know, and all the stuff we're making.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. I'm interested in watching this movement, and I'm interested in seeing what you guys come up with in the future. Super Longevity Institute, man. I hope in the future that we will be like the Singularity University is, but for the culture. You know, it'll be cultural specific. You know, I
yeah,
hope that later on, you know, we can have a curriculum that will teach uh, transhumanism and things along that line to the hip hop community. But Rich Lee, man, thanks for having me. Thanks for coming and checking me out, man. I enjoyed this talk, and I've been wanting to discuss these things with you. and
yeah. I could talk for hours, man. So
mm,
bring me back on anytime.
I
I
definitely
got like a
will.
million topics I could cover.
I definitely will, man. And yeah, man. Do not be afraid. Um, this is to the hip hop community. You know, you can't don't you know don't be afraid to experiment and try to and try to learn what the biohack community is all about. Um, because these tools that the biohackers use are not, you know, microchips. You could use the microchips also. You don't have to. None of these tools are uh, forbidden from you. All right. The biohacking community started from a humble beginning. They're doing it in their garage. They're biohacking in their garage. So, you know, you could build a laboratory right in your home from where you at, wherever you at. You can build a laboratory. All right. This is, you know, this episode was called Biohacking Out the Garage. I got Rich Lee as a guest, biohacker. This is Super Longevity Institute. Law Matres, Single, I salute, and I'm out. Did you want to say something before we close, Ashley?
Oh man, just thanks again for having me on.
Oh, it's my
It's a
pleasure.
pleasure. So
Thanks
yeah,
for coming by, man. Peace.
take care.
Take care.